Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is considered an indoor ceremony. As a reminder, during the national anthem, military members should stand at attention. Civilian guests are invited to place their right hand over their heart. Throughout the ceremony, you'll be given cues to stand and be seated at the appropriate times. We are about to begin today's ceremony. Please take your seat and silence all electronic devices for the duration of the ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Master Sergeant John Adams, and I will be the narrator for today's ceremony. On behalf of the Commander, 60th Operations Group, Colonel Greg Johnson, and the men and women of the 60th Operations Support Squadron, welcome to today's official Change of Command ceremony, in which the reins of responsibility and leadership will pass from Lieutenant Colonel Brian Thomason to Lieutenant Colonel Nathan Paget. Please stand for the arrival of the official party, the playing of the national anthem, and for the invocation.
Brian, first David, now you. You've kept me sane, you've challenged me spiritually and physically, and you've helped me become a better officer and leader. I'll always think of you as when that rare person comes along who can pass me on the track, or when I see a stack of pancakes. Now, it's hard for me to admit this, but you're an all-around swell guy who is fitter and faster than me. But I am sorry you couldn't round out your stunning physique with hair as awesome as mine. But as they say, grass doesn't grow on a busy runway. One more thing. Sola scriptura, sola fide, sola gratia. I'm going to miss you, brother. Let us pray. Father, bless this ceremony and what it represents. The weighty responsibilities of command have challenged leaders in every age. As Lieutenant Colonel Paget assumes command, bless him with keen insight, firmness of character, and a vision for the best use of his talents in his new role. Give Tamara, Emma, Lila, and Owen grace and understanding. And may the gatekeepers be as blessed under his leadership as it has been under the care of Lieutenant Colonel Thomason. And bless the Thomason family as they move to Scott and return to a community they love. Give him the sense of accomplishment that he deserves for a job well done, and bless him in his new role. And may he excel in all that he does. And now inspire us all to do our best each day as we make the mission happen with energy, enthusiasm, and effectiveness. And we pray these things in your name. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. Thank you, Chaplain Longo Hostetler. As you will notice, today's ceremony will be uniquely executed, as it is vital that we continue to fight the COVID-19 virus by maintaining social distancing. This situation has and will continue to present us with challenges that we will overcome. The Change of Command ceremony is rooted in military history dating back to the 18th century. At that time, organizational flags were developed with color arrangements and symbols unique to each particular unit. The flag serves as a rallying point, a reminder of their allegiance to their leader during battle. To this flag and its commander, military members dedicated their loyalty and trust. When a change of command took place, the flag was passed to the individual assuming command in the presence of the entire unit. All unit members would witness their new leader assume the responsibility and trust associated with the position of commander. He or she who possessed the flag also held the unit member's allegiance. This symbolic tradition has survived throughout military history. Our goal today is to continue the change of command tradition while recognizing the constraints of the unprecedented times we are currently in. At this time, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce the official party. The presiding officer, Colonel Greg Johnson, and his spouse, Patricia. The outgoing commander, Lieutenant Colonel Brian Thomason, accompanied by his spouse, Amanda, and children Ethan, Levi, Evelyn, Julianne, and Eliza. The incoming commander, Lieutenant Colonel Nathan Paget, accompanied by his spouse, Tamara, and children Emma, Lila, and Owen. We are also privileged to have with us today several distinguished guests. The commander, 60th Air Mobility Wing, Colonel Jeffrey Nelson, accompanied by his spouse, Courtney. The command chief, 60th Air Mobility Wing, Chief Master Sergeant Derek Crowder. Representing the Superintendent, 60th Operations Group, Chief Master Sergeant Toby Thompson. We would also like to extend a greeting to all members of 60th Operations Support Squadron and members of Team Travis watching today's virtual ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, the presiding officer, Colonel Greg Johnson.
All right, thanks, Sergeant. Oop. All right, we're good. Testing that. Thanks, Sergeant Adams. As I mentioned before, you look better in that blue uniform than our Santa Claus for the kids' Christmas party, so that's good on there. Good morning, everybody. Hey, before I start my comments, if you haven't looked behind you, that's a pretty awesome scene. So if you just want to take a moment to just peek behind you and see rapid air mobility, global mobility at its best, it's right there and on display. So Colonel Nelson, Mrs. Nelson, Chief Crowder, Colonel Jerome watching virtually, I know. Thank you for joining the 60th Operations Support Squadron family this morning during this special occasion. I also want to thank you for your steadfast leadership, mentorship, coaching you provide our wing and the 60th Operations Group family in rapid global mobility mission execution. To my beautiful wife, Patricia, thank you for your continued enthusiastic support to our amazing Operations Group family, especially your support to Amanda and Tamara as they begin their respective new journeys. It is my time to tell you what you tell our command spouses all the time: you are awesome. Our families play such a loving and supporting role. Amanda, Ethan, Levi, Evelyn, Julianne, and Eliza. What an exciting day to celebrate and reflect on an exceptional 2 years experiencing the highs and lows of Squadron Command. It is tough, yet fulfilling experience. One, Amanda, you have accomplished with great composure and grace. Your leadership, mentorship, support, and love for the gatekeepers was so instrumental. Patricia and I want to thank you for all you have done, and we will miss you, but we are excited for what the future has to hold for you and Cabby. Tamara, Emma, Lila, and Owen. I love those smiles, by the way. That's good stuff. You can raise your hand. It's all right. Welcome to the land of the Delta Breeze, or welcome back to California. I know you did spend some time just south of here in Monterey. I know it's been a fast couple weeks with SAS graduation, moving across the country, and a virtual command course. Patricia and I want to say thank you Thank you for the role you are stepping into and the impact you will have on the Gatekeeper family. We look forward to getting to know you and are excited for what the future has to hold for you. Group commanders, squadron commanders, chiefs, first sergeants, and civic leaders, family and friends, and the men and women of the Gatekeeper family. Whether in person or watching virtually, I am grateful for your time this morning as we celebrate two exceptional leaders in this symbolic tradition. Before proceeding too far into remarks, I want to take this moment to recognize the change of command ceremony team led by Major Poole and Master Sergeant Adams, and also the 60th Air Mobility Wing Protocol and Public Affairs staff. Thank you for your time, dedication, coordination, and attention to detail leading an outstanding event under certainly unique circumstances. I also want to thank the maintenance group team providing our ceremony foreground, as you saw earlier, and a reminder of what rapid global mobility looks like up close and personal. In a recent search of Gatekeeper on the internet, I ran across a simple definition and meaning. A gatekeeper is a person who controls access to something. Gatekeepers assess who is in or out, quote unquote. With over 450 total force personnel across 10 flights, 14 Air Force specialty codes, and 26 buildings, the 60th Operations Support Squadron is Air Mobility Command's largest and busiest OSS. A gatekeeper team that does not limit or choose who is, quote, in or out, but rather a gatekeeper team that opens the floodgates to execute and support the Air Mobility Command commander's intent to develop and sustain the rapid global mobility enterprise in order to support Secretary of Defense and Secretary of the Air Force directed missions. Intelligence, aviation resource management, tactics, current operations, weather, KC-10 formal training unit, and airfield operations. Each flight is unique in its own right. However, comes together as a powerful gatekeeper team, pivotal to 31,000 operations, with the oversight of 31,000 operations annually, and conducting overwatch of what I call and reference Travis Air Force Base's fourth major weapon system, 5.3 million square feet of pavement. You all crushed the mission. Cabby, over the last 2 years, you have led the gatekeeper charge. In a modified quote from our 26th president, Teddy Roosevelt, the credit belongs to the one who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends oneself in worthy cause. Cabby, these words resonate with me when I think of your command time, and immediately one of your greatest attributes that jumps out is unwavering servant leadership. The numerous resources and requirements to operate Air Mobility Command's largest OSS is vast. Your connection with squadron members and the ability to carry their message to action or elevate up to me for action or additional coordination was amazing to observe. In many cases, it took an increased investment in time. However, you knew the importance. You wanted to provide for your members so they had every opportunity to accomplish their mission set and not to let others down. Not only was this with resources of things, it was an investment of time with your people, setting the environment for coaching, mentoring, professional development, and capitalizing on opportunities. This by far is an investment with the greatest return for each individual and our Air Force. Thank you for our conversations on how we could best align officer and enlisted members for advancing his or her success. Another attribute used within your arena, Cabby, was vision, setting the intent for that vision. This led to placing the right people in the right job to tackle the toughest opportunities, from increasing readiness for our aircrew flight equipment to COVID-19 operations within radar approach and control. With vision and intent, you empowered your people at the lowest levels. This was evident during my conversations all around the OSS and through the numerous group and individual award recognitions received at the group, wing, Air Mobility Command, and Air Force levels. That intent and vision was also instrumental in working through several KC-46 transition plans that propelled Travis Air Force Base into executing the next generation tanker mission set. Cabby, this next attribute I saved for last. In his book, The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday, he writes, "Stuff is going to happen that catches us off guard, threatens or scares us. Surprises are almost guaranteed. The risk of being overwhelmed is always there. In these situations, talent is not the most sought-after characteristic. Grace and poise are. Because these two attributes precede the opportunity to deploy other skills. There were many opportunities you faced, both highs and lows, in some cases several on the same day, working the same avenues, and feeling like there was no way forward. Your gift of grace and poise allowed help where needed, and it provided closure where one may not have existed, and advanced our growth at the squadron and group leadership level through you setting your example. Cabby, what an incredible chapter of your career. I am certainly grateful I was able to see your leadership firsthand. Be proud of your legacy, and all I can say is exceptional work. Patricia and I wish you the best at Air Mobility Command and can't wait to see what the future holds for you. Colonel Nelson, the wing keeps hitting squadron commanders and hitting the jackpot on squadron commanders. And the gatekeepers will be in tremendous hands under Lieutenant Colonel Nathan Padgett's leadership. Nate, you are the right person at the right time to command the 60th Operations Squadron. In reading through your records, your supervisors and commanders identified your leadership gift early on. Their coaching and mentorship, coupled with your focused expert efforts, dedication, and drive for excellence, has led to this phenomenal command opportunity. You bring perspective shaped through incredible depth, breadth, and credibility. From the Tiger Line at the 535th in Hawaii, to the Rat Pack of Altus, to the 618th Air Operations Center, and United States Special Operations Command. It is time to start writing the next chapter. We are happy for you, your family, and look forward to our time together. My charge to you is to boldly lead, care for your gatekeeper family, execute the mission with excellence and precision, and find opportunities to advance your squadron. To quote the book Legacy, it is time to make your mark, your contribution. It is time to leave a legacy, your legacy. It is your time. So what do you say we get started? Sir. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Johnson. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as we present Colonel Thomason with the Meritorious Service Medal. Attention orders. This is to certify that the President of the United States of America, authorized by Executive Order 16 January 1969, has awarded the Meritorious Service Medal, 2nd Oak Leaf Cluster, to Lieutenant Colonel Brian C. Thomason for meritorious service 29 July 2018 to 9 July 2020. Lieutenant Colonel Brian C. Thomason distinguished himself in the performance of outstanding service to the United States as Commander, 60th Operations Support Squadron, 60th Operations Group, 60th Air Mobility Wing, Travis Air Force Base, California. During this period, Colonel Thomason ensured the smooth operation of Air Mobility Command's largest operations support squadron, comprising of 10 flights, 14 career specialties, and over 450 active duty and civilian personnel. His efforts resolved multi-year readiness deficiencies in Air Mobility Command's largest aircrew flight equipment section, servicing C-5s, C-17s, K-10s, and over 1,500 active and reserve aircrew. In addition, Colonel Thompson led Air Mobility Command's 2019 Airfield Operations Flight of the Year through 330,000 flight operations, 17 construction projects, and the procurement of $122 million towards a new taxiway and runway replacement, while ensuring mission effectiveness and providing flawless support to a community air show hosting 135,000 visitors to a community air show hosting over 135,000 visitors. Moreover, he directed the design and execution of $8 million in KC-46 construction funds towards facility renovations and a next-generation secure planning cell. Finally, Colonel Thomason oversaw testing of technology, enabling radar facilities to accurately identify and filter wind turbine clutter from radar scopes, resulting in recognition as a 60th Operations Group's 2019 Squadron of the Year. The singularly distinctive accomplishments of Colonel Thomason reflect great credit upon himself and the United States Air Force. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the outgoing commander, Colonel Thomason.
Thanks. Good morning. So Colonel Johnson made a joke yesterday about the Muleys and their change of command recently where Paul Pollack spoke for 22 minutes. He challenged me to 60 minutes. So, sir, you didn't know that I'd take that to heart. I hope you're ready. And now I get to enjoy the suspense as the rest of you wonder whether I really mean that or not. Commanding a squadron in the U.S. Air Force is in many ways a singular experience. I don't necessarily mean that in terms of being an amazing accomplishment. What I mean is that you spend a lot of time preparing and looking forward to it. Leading is rightly the focus of so much of our training. But more importantly, I say that also because it provides an unrivaled perspective by which you can see the efforts of so many people as they come together in support of common goals. Strangely, it's also an extremely rewarding experience in terms of how humbling it is. Command provides perspective on how much you owe to others, those who came before, those who teach and encourage and support you. Perhaps most importantly, this experience of command in the Air Force has underscored to me how much as a commander I owe to those who do the hard work of our Air Force every day. Those who deserve the real credit for the job well done and who have made a lasting impression on me as a commander watching them in action. So I think it's right that our traditions mean that we spend a lot of time saying thank you at events like these. Colonel and Mrs. Nelson, Colonel and Mrs. Jerome, Chief Crowder, thank you for being here today and for your steadfast support of the men and women of Team Travis. Every interaction I've had with each of you has been focused on how we can do right by our nation and Air Force in order to get the mission done and take care of the airmen. That's pretty impressive. Colonel Johnson, sir, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you and Patricia and the way you've both led the operations group over the past year. You've definitely made this feel like a family. And your focus on people, mission, and opportunities has allowed us to focus on the priorities that we need to. I appreciate it. To all of our mission partners here at Travis, both inside and outside of the 60th Air Mobility Wing, it's been impressive to see 3 wings, both active duty and reserve, continually come together to get the job done. Thank you especially to the maintenance group for the use of this facility and the amazing machines that we see out there. Thank you to the protocol team, PA, and the change of command planning team led by Major Poole and Master Sergeant Adams. Chaplain Hosteller, Kevin, wherever you went, thank you for your benediction and for all those who've had a part in today's ceremony. I really appreciate it. To my fellow commanders in the ops group, starting with Randy, Fish, and Disco, if you're watching, when I first arrived, you guys showed me up close and personal what it meant to lead a squadron. How to do so as a team of commanders working through competing requirements and coming out the other side in a way that benefited all. Paul Pollack, thanks for welcoming me even in advance of my PCS here by sharing your wisdom from your time as a gatekeeper and then as a fellow commander. Vince, You have a passion for your team and the well-being of your airmen. That's a model for all of us. Stubby, you always seem to know the right question to ask, and the ability to focus on the key issues at hand, and then say something crazy that'll make us laugh and then focus us as we move forward together. You really build consensus around what's important. Swap, you think through strategic issues at a level that I will never attain. And then you're able to boil that down to a level the rest of us can understand and bring the rest of us on along a journey so that we can move along together. Brian, you've impressed me by your ability to lead your team, to do that well while simultaneously making sure that you're looking out for the interests of the rest of our teams as well. To the gatekeepers, starting with my command team, my ops officers, both Matt Hammerly and David Vitale, you guys have been just what we needed at the right time. You're both true professionals. You're indispensable in terms of making sure that the squadron has been moving along and getting things done. You've achieved some remarkable things. Chief Ortiz, you, Chief Stokes, Chief Iglesias, Chief Kasperger, you've taught me a lot about how to lead, about what our airmen need, about how best to get there. You've had the courage to tell me when I'm wrong, and you've shown me what right looks like. Thank you for your influence. To my first sergeants, Senior Master Sergeant retired Pat Odom, Senior Gerald James, Master Sergeant Jason Wallace, and all those who filled in as temp shirts from time to time. Wow, I knew shirts were amazing, but I didn't know how much I would depend on you every single day. How many late night phone calls we would share, how many lives you and your teammates would literally save. I'm forever in your debt. To the rest of the gatekeepers, starting from the young junior airmen, the junior officers, the frontline supervisors especially, up to the flight leadership, you're the true heroes in my book. You always find a way to get the job done. When I first came here, the question in my mind centered around what made us a squadron. So many seemingly different groups of people doing seemingly different things. But what has struck me is not only the determination to always come through, but the fact that you're always coming through not only for your own team, but so that others will succeed as well. Your mission is focused on supporting others so that they can be more successful than they otherwise would. And I see that self-sacrificial dedication to others in what the gatekeepers do every day. As the Chief of Staff recently said, you do exceptionally difficult things well, and you do the ordinary things exceptionally well. Keep doing that. I believe that giving your life for others is one of the most noble things you can do, whether that's the ultimate sacrifice in combat or the daily sacrifice of working to empower others, sometimes at your own expense. It's been inspiring to watch, and it's been an honor to serve with you. To my kids, Ethan, Levi, Ev, Julie, Eliza, you're awesome. You add energy to every aspect of our lives. I'm proud to see you growing up. Thank you for being patient with me and sharing me with others. Thanks for teaching me something new every day. Thanks for the hugs and smiles when I come home from work. You don't know how much dads really need those. But they keep me going, and you're great kids. Amanda, I'm not eloquent enough to find the right words to thank you, so I'll borrow some. We talked about this recently, so it won't be a surprise, but I think it's fitting. One of my favorite authors, a guy named Tim Keller, said that to be loved but not known is comforting but superficial. To be known and not loved is our greatest fear. To be fully known and truly loved is, well, a lot like being loved by God. It's what we need more than anything. It liberates us from pretense, humbles us out of our self-righteousness, and fortifies us for any difficulty life can throw at us. Sweetheart, thank you for supporting me. Whether that's encouragement or rebuke, and sometimes I need both. Thanks for knowing me well enough to know my faults and still choose to love me. I have a much better understanding of grace and the love of Christ Jesus because of you, and I've been able to withstand the difficulties of life in command because of the incredible things you do for me and our kids every day. Finally, Nate, you're definitely the right guy to lead the squadron through some coming challenges. With facility moves, new aircraft, new mission sets, all in a very dynamic environment. I'm thankful to know that the right person is stepping into this role. It's hard to say goodbye to a squadron like this, but it's made easier knowing that our gatekeepers will have an amazing team like you and Tamara, and that you'll be looking out for them. Unfortunately, time constraints, late night speech writing, and I'm sure a faulty memory forced me to skip over others who deserve credit. So I'll end by saying thank you to you all, whether you're here in person or watching. Thank you for what you do every day and for the opportunity to spend this time with you. It's been a privilege to serve in this capacity alongside you. God bless you all.
Thank you, Colonel Thomason and Eliza. At this time, on behalf of the men and women of the 60th Operations Support Squadron, the Director of Operations, Lieutenant Colonel David Vitale, would like to render a final salute to the outgoing commander. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the change of command ceremony. Attention orders. Special Order 20-028, dated 7 July 2020. Lieutenant Colonel Nathan Paget is appointed Commander, 60th Operations Support Squadron, Travis Air Force Base, California, effective 9 July 2020, under authority of Air Force Instruction 51-604. On behalf of Colonel Johnson, it is my pleasure to introduce the commander of the 60th Operations Support Squadron, Colonel Nathan Paget. Please take your seats. Lieutenant Colonel Paget, the floor is yours, sir.
Good morning. Thank you all very much for coming today or joining us via the live stream. I know I'm third here, but if there's one thing I've learned in the Air Force, it's that we can't say thank you enough to the people and families who make everything possible, both for what we do as a service and to the nation. So to start, I'd like to thank the protocol team for setting this all up, and especially to the project officers, Major Poole and Master Sergeant Adams. Thank you for making this ceremony happen today and for narrating. Moreover, thank you for your time, for working through the challenges that COVID presented, and for not missing a beat with the critical work that you do for both the squadron and the base's operations. To Chaplain Hostettler, thank you for being here today. Thank you for your heartfelt invocation and for being a cornerstone of hope and resilience that so many rely on. Colonel Johnson, sir, thank you for your kind words and your introduction. I'm just incredibly excited to get started, and we in the OSS will strive to present the rest of your operations group with the best possible support. We stand ready to execute, sir. To our distinguished visitors, Colonel Nelson, sir, just thank you so much for your leadership and mentoring over the last 8 years. You empowered me to implement new programs and procedures at Altus. You helped me navigate a maze of staff and school assignments, and even showed me where to get a good dinner in Korea. Thank you for all your time and energy, and please just know that I'm incredibly grateful for this fantastic opportunity. Sir, I wish you and the family the best in DC. To Courtney and Patricia, thank you for what you do for Team Travis. I truly appreciated how quickly you welcomed and both made my family feel welcome in California. And Courtney, thank you so much for the years of friendship. To Tamara, it's incredibly special for us. Thank you. Chief Crowder, the group commanders, squadron commanders, chiefs, first sergeants, spouses, and mission partners across Travis Air Force Base. Again, just thank you so much for your time and for coming out today. I especially appreciate that in a time where it's rare for us to get to be together the way the military organizations are supposed to be, and hopefully will be again soon. To the other operations group squadron commanders, I'm excited to get to know you guys and work with you. And as a few of you suggested, maybe even work on getting a new door to the flight line. I'll turn to my family now, and of course that all starts with Tamara, my wife. Thank you so much for what you do for our family. You're the consistent source of strength for all of us, and you're the engine that makes it go. I'm so lucky to have met you, and so happy that you're on this adventure with me. Thanks for always being my counselor and my friend. I love you and just simply can't thank you enough. To the little people who have patiently made it so far through the ceremony, sitting with Mom, Emma, Lila, and Owen are all third-generation military kids, but the girls have actually already surpassed my total number of houses that I lived in as a brat, and Owen is clicking off house number 4 as a 2-year-old. So I appreciate what we've put them through, and kids, we know that we ask a lot of you for how small you are, but you kids are amazing, and your mom and I are very proud of you all. Unfortunately, today my broader family couldn't make it due to travel concerns, and while they're not here, as many of you have not been able to see your families for a while, I do still feel their support from wherever they are. But I'd like to take a moment to thank my dad, a retired Army colonel, for demonstrating a life of service and how to provide for a family. But especially, I would like to thank him for insisting that I join the Air Force instead of the Army. I really just seriously can't thank you enough for that one. That's just been a great decision overall. Today, I remember my mom for her compassion and her continual teaching. And I would also like to send thanks out to my 4 brothers, Danny, Mikey, Matthew, and Andrew, for all the talks and laughs over the years. Also, I'd like to extend my thanks to Tamara's family back on the East Coast, her parents, Tim and Linda, along with sisters, Jen and Christy. You guys have always had open homes and hearts for whenever us Padgetts come crashing in through the door, so thank you for that. To the mentors, instructors, close friends, and people who have guided me along the way, thank you for your patience, your personalized attention, and your efforts to aid my development as an airman, a pilot, a student, husband, and father. To all of my close friends, both in the audience and beyond, thank you for your friendship and for helping me in so many different ways. The camaraderie from a life in military service is simply irreplaceable. But today we do say our farewells to Lieutenant Colonel Thomason, or as I know him, Cabby. It wavers a bit, and no offense, sir, but the C-17 Weapons School cadre hasn't always done a great job with imaginative call signs. Myself and Cabby are not exceptions to this. To his credit, though, his name came from his altruistic approach to caring for his fellow students. And I'd never really met him until he reached out to me to welcome me to Team Travis a few months ago. But from then, it's just been one reinforcing moment after another where he showcased his utmost devotion to his people and their families. Cabby, thanks for the hours that you spent on turnover with me, and know that I look at your time as the lead gatekeeper as you throwing down the gauntlet. I accept your challenge and will endeavor to lead these great airmen with the same care and focus as you did. Thanks very much for your support while we transitioned from Alabama and the few great hours my family and yours got to spend together. I wish you, Amanda, and the kids a safe trip to Illinois and another great tour at Scott. We'll see you out there. But of course, the people who made it all possible for him are the gatekeepers themselves, the airmen of the 60th Operations Support Squadron. While the squadron itself is just nearing 30 years old, Travis has long been an important staging base for operations dating back to World War II. I'll steal a little bit from Colonel Johnson here. Apparently we have the same internet, and remind you that the conceptual construct of the gatekeeper, which is centuries older than both our unit and base, has existed in many forms and across an array of vocations. But no matter the actor, that common theme does endure. The gatekeeper is the one who provides access. For our squadron, with those 14 specialties across 10 flights, the name is very applicable. You are all diverse in skill set and function, yet one in purpose. Together, we are the unit which provides access to and through the gateway to the Pacific and enabled the dynamic projection of American air power. We'll continue to do so thanks to your day in and day out excellence that you all demonstrate. The commander's role is to make the mission happen and lead people, but truly, the precise execution comes from your efforts and expertise. I'm thankful that you are the ones manning the gate and lucky to be among you. I promise to lead with a dedicated effort and awareness that your lives continue whenever you leave work for the day or military service for good. We'll get the mission done, but especially in these uncertain times, our aim must be for efficacy in operations so that we can get home to support the families and friends who support us. Today, I humbly take the guide on as your new commander, but know that it is me who will be serving you and your families. Thank you all.
Thank you, Colonel Paget. At this time, on behalf of the men and women of the 60th Operations Support Squadron, the Director of Operations, Lieutenant Colonel David Vitale, would like to render a first salute to the incoming commander. Sir, we look forward to your leadership and guidance. Please, ladies and gentlemen, stand for the playing of the Air Force song and the departure of the official party. Into the wild blue yonder, climbing high into the sun. Here they come, zooming to meet our thunder. Adam, give her the gun, give her the gun! Down we dive, spouting our flames from under. Off with one hell of a roar. We live in fame, go down in flames. Hey, nothing will stop the U.S. Air Force. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our change of command ceremony. We thank you for joining us and hope you have a wonderful day.